What song is this?
I thought it was the Doctor Who intro.
You don't think it's the Doctor Who intro? You're a liar.
I liked the music at the end of the episode.
What was the music at the end of the episode?
I don't know. It was like
an actual song.
It was an actual song, and it totally went with the theme. Like, it was all about like standing up.
Oh, the theme of the episode.
Yeah, the theme of the episode. It was cool. It was a cool thing.
But she didn't stand up. She sat down.
Ooh.
It's the Watchers on the Couch. Welcome to Watchers on the Couch, a TV and film discussion podcast on the Onyx Edge Podcast Network. This is the Doctor Who edition. I'm Tim Pickerel.
I'm Sarah Pickerel.
No video for this episode.
Yeah.
Had some technical difficulties and Sarah doesn't feel very well, so I've been working hard all day on the house. So
You don't want to see us right now.
Yeah, we're a
It's
mess.
a real disaster.
So sorry about that. We will have video next week.
Yeah.
I'll still put something up on YouTube. By the way, if you didn't know, we also do a video version on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Today we are discussing episode 3 of series 11, Rosa.
Yeah, Rosa. I love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Like it.
Like it.
Gotta have it.
You gotta have it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was neat. It was a neat episode.
I'm glad you liked it.
I really did. I appreciated a lot of it. I know that some of it was kind of like dopey, but I mean, but most of it, I think overall, it gets a thumbs up from me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it your favorite episode so far?
Of this series?
Of this series.
That's a good question. I mean, it was very well done in a lot of ways. A lot of ways I really liked it, but I don't think it's my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still.
It just wasn't. It wasn't really about the Doctor.
Right.
You know.
Very much so.
So
I would say that's true.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as the story goes, I thought it was great. Telling the history of the show, like I think that kind of went back to Doctor Who's roots of like, this is a history show. This is a show of like the history of what happened in the world, and instead of like the science-y like cyborg, not cyborg, but the Cybermen and aliens and things like that. Like, I don't think it's always been that way. I think it was like somewhat like a history show, wasn't it?
It was actually. That's what. It's interesting you say that because, we have a new segment on the show, and in research, we introduced it last episode.
Yeah.
In doing research for that segment, there was a lot of people complaining that this was a history lesson and the show's supposed to be about space and aliens and stuff like that.
Not necessarily.
It's a time machine too, folks. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, one of the interesting things there. One of the other things was people were upset that they thought this episode was too political. I don't know how they consider it political, aside from they just think race topics are somehow political, which
it's triggering for some people, but I don't think it was political in any means. I think it was just a history lesson of like, this is actually what happened to Rosa Parks or people like Rosa Parks, in this time, in this place.
Right. And one of the other things, but yeah, we were saying with Doctor Who, traditionally, like, especially if you go back to the very first season, the first Doctor.
Yeah.
The old episodes of Doctor Who, there were history episodes and then there were futuristic episodes.
Right.
And the history ones were they were history lessons, and then there was also viewing history through the prism of people from different time periods.
Right.
So that was that was kind of in the educational part of the show. And then they would have the more science fiction episodes, which had to do more with like morality based things. So people who always like say they don't want to be preached to, or they don't want their science fiction shows to be political, the basis of science fiction is socio-political commentary.
Absolutely.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Well, look at Star Trek.
Absolutely Star Trek.
Yeah.
Star Trek's the biggest one, probably. And then, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
The latest one, very political.
Yeah.
The only science fiction franchise that's probably not political is Star Wars.
Yeah, well,
And
even that, well, not political for us as a culture, but political for their own storytelling, for sure. You know, it's for the story of Star Wars, it's political for them, but like it's not political commentary for us.
Right, but then there's also another argument to be made that Star Wars is not really science fiction. There's no
What?
Well,
What's
it's science fiction if you just say taking place in space.
Yeah,
is
but I mean,
science fiction.
There's aliens. There's different types of life forms. There's these interesting weapons.
Sure, but Game of Thrones has dragons,
Yeah, so
which is an interesting creature,
it's not.
but it's not.
So it's not sci-fi. It's fantasy.
I would say it's like, yeah, it's There's very little actual science in Star Wars.
Okay.
In terms of in the world building that people have then expanded
Okay.
on in books and things like that, they've added science and like technical blueprints to the Death Star and how lightsabers quote unquote work. But in its initial what have you,
Okay.
no science fit. It's not science fiction. It's like fantasy space opera.
Okay. So would you say that Doctor Who is definitely science fiction?
I would
though?
absolutely say Doctor Who is science fiction.
It's not. But it can be a lesson in history as well, since it is a time machine. So it doesn't have to be like outer space aliens, creatures of the week attacking all the time. It can be an actual like lesson, which can be told in a really interesting way. You know, it doesn't have to, it's not actually like history, like boring history. It's just like, I feel like this episode was told in an interesting way. And it was, it was really sad to see like what happened. But I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah, no, I
know?
agree.
Okay.
And a lot of people agree with you. But there are some people that definitely don't agree with you.
That's okay.
There are people out there
Yeah.
that can't find joy in anything. And they have to take to the internet to complain about it. And that brings us to our segment, Dr. Boo-hoo. So, I've got two here and then a bonus.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
And I should say, these all come from 1-star reviews on imdb.com. And in searching for 1-star reviews that weren't just absolutely hateful
Yeah.
for this episode, it's 2018. Welcome to whatever weird ass climate we're in.
Yeah.
It was difficult to find some that were just stupid. Like, I like silly and stupid things. That's what's fun for us. We don't want to.
No, we don't want to get too like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's our first 1-star review from Paul Gibson 24080. Where's the sci-fi gone? Just a historical reenactment. I'm sorry to say this is the most disappointing Doctor Who episode I've seen. More like a historical drama rather than iconic sci-fi episode. So far away from Doctor Who genre and more like something you'd watch on the History Channel.
I do not agree with him
Right.
at all.
Yeah, and we just discussed that. So, yes, important tipping point in history, but awful basis for a Doctor Who plot. Zero sci-fi, zero escapism, and the well children explainer scene at the end was so cringeworthy.
Yeah.
I never write reviews, but on this occasion I had to. I hope the next episodes are true to form, otherwise we'll lose Doctor Who again for another generation because the audience will just turn off.
Oh man, what a Debbie Downer.
Zero sci-fi.
Zero
You have a villain from the future.
Yeah, and there's sci-fi like tools and weapons that he brought from the future.
The entire reason they're there is sci-fi.
Right.
More like something you'd watch on the History Channel.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that there.
yeah,
was...
Hitler wasn't in this. If it was
Yeah.
the History Channel, it would be Hitler. And they've already had Hitler in Doctor Who.
That's true.
And Rory punched him in the face.
It's awesome.
That's an interesting thing.
Okay. Sidebar.
Well, a lot of people's complaining about Doctor Who this season has to do with the social justice aspect of that they're like beating it over our heads for this
Okay.
series.
Yeah,
They punched a Nazi.
they did.
Like, Three seasons ago.
Did anyone complain then?
Nobody complained then.
Yeah. I think that kind of is very telling
Punching the OG Nazi.
of the climate again that we're in
Right.
at the moment.
Coming up next is a 1-star review from, this is going to be really hard to say, Fabrizio Assini Fabrizio Assini.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right.
This series goes from worst to not worth it. A tough subject to cover, but covered so much better in other shows.
Dang.
A pantomime villain thrown in,
Yeah.
given no motive or backstory to his actions, and dispatched easily. That's the reason I picked this one, is because there's a lot of misspellings in
Dispatched. I like that.
I don't know what it means, but
Dispatched?
I feel like that's when your sister kills you.
Dispatched.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
What do you think dispatch means? Let us know. Poor writing and acting throughout. Terrible. Jodie Whittaker's doctor is devoid of any character development. Episode 3 expected to see something. Given the subject matter, expected a quintessential doctorish speech about humanity's faults, but alas, none. Too much drama. Focused on the quote-unquote friends, with long drawn-out scenes. Scenes is spelled S-E-E-N-S.
Nice.
Straight out of a soap opera.
Okay.
Terrible decision to have a song rather than the incidental music close out the show. This is Doctor Who at its worst in all its history. Strong storytelling and plot need to come first. Seems like it moved to Sundays as Bo Longer can cut it on Saturdays.
Bo Longer. Yeah, Bo Longer.
Bo Longer.
For sure.
Bo Longer should be a Doctor Who character.
I love it.
Bo Longer is Captain Jack's new friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Write that fan fiction and send it in. I'll read it.
It's perfect.
Bo Longer can cut it on Saturdays. Chibnall is terrible in the position of showrunner and especially writer. Goodbye, Doctor Who, the long-running sci-fi show so beloved.
Wow.
I have a lot of strong feelings about the villain in this episode.
I know you do, and I kind of mirror those feelings as well.
Which brings us to the third. I forgot that I thought I only had 2 and a bonus, but we actually have 3 and a bonus.
Okay.
The 2 or this next one is awesome.
Okay.
Racist from the 5700th century. This is from Worley Michael. Another 1-star review. So the story arc is that people are racist bigots even thousands of years from now.
Apparently.
Very depressing.
Yeah, no shit.
That's not. I don't consider that a Dr. Boo-hoo, but I just put that in there because I liked it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one a lot.
Which brings us to our final entry into Dr.
Okay.
Boo-hoo for this episode.
This is my bonus.
This is your bonus.
Okay.
From Ancient Christian Church.
Yay! Ancient Christian Church. What does Ancient Christian Church have to say this week?
So I mean, Ancient Christian Church was right up front for me again this week when I was looking. So I decided to check out his profile on IMDb.
Yeah.
He has been around since 2015. That's when he started his IMDb account.
All right. 3 solid years. That's
3
cool.
solid years. He has 3 reviews. And they are all for this season of Doctor Who.
No way.
Absolutely.
Love it.
He came out of mothballs just to comment on Doctor Who Series 11.
He's a Doctor Who hero. Let's hear it.
Just when you think it can't get any worse, Jodie and Chibnall prove you wrong. This was atrocious, clumsy, ham-fisted tripe.
Oh my God.
Jodie Whittaker is clearly out of her depth in the role. The only similarity between this and Doctor Who is the title. This is just horrid. Can we just cancel Series 11 now?
You said that last week,
He
didn't
did.
he?
That's his thing.
Wow. Just cancel it. He's speaking out.
I
That's
don't
so
think
interesting.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Jodie's
No, I don't
portrayal
either.
of the Doctor, but I do think there's some issues with the Doctor. The way the Doctor's written this season.
Really?
There's some things about it that I don't like.
All right.
And we will
I want to hear about it.
get to that.
Okay.
That brings us to the close of Doctor Boo-hoo. And I'm actually going to start doing ads.
Okay.
So I'm going to put like a space in between ads there. Right. So when we come back, Sarah and I will talk about what we liked and what we didn't like about this episode. We'll start with what we didn't like because I don't want to end things on a down note.
Yeah,
because
don't be a bummer.
we just had a whole bunch of down notes right up front. So
We got to sandwich it.
So stick around with us. We'll be right back. We've got some little sponsor type stuff to go over. And don't worry, all the sponsor stuff is like, we don't have any real sponsors. It's just stuff that we're doing. We're brought to you by us. This episode of Watchers on the Couch is brought to you by the Bacon and Nays podcast. Bacon and Nays is the log flume of podcasts. Your hosts Jimmy Lopez and Chris Nays take an exciting ride aboard a log made of news, pop culture, and whatever the hell they want. So don't be a ham and eggy. Check out Bacon and Nays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you fine audio entertainment connoisseurs get your hot pod. Did you know that Watchers on the Couch had a YouTube channel? Probably not, because I forgot to tell people about it. In the past, we did video episodes over on the Onyx Edge Studios YouTube channel, but now we have our very own. Video versions of our Doctor Who episodes are up now, and you can also check out our back catalog of video, which consists of American Gods Season 1, Game of Thrones Season 7, and a couple bonus episodes we did between Game of Thrones Seasons 5 and 6. It's a new channel, no subscribers, so the URL is still gibberish. Show us some love by visiting watchersonthecouch.com/YouTube. That'll send you where you need to go. And subscribe to that channel so YouTube will let us get a sexy username for our link. Okay, so we're back. We just had a amazing round of Dr. Boo-Hoo.
Yeah.
People are just
amazing.
People are just complaining like crazy.
Yeah.
The big thing that seems to be the major sticking point for a lot of people in this episode is the villain, Krasko, played by Josh Bowman. What'd you think of Josh Bowman or Krasko?
I thought Krasko was a interesting choice for this episode.
Very sexy guy.
Oh, he actually was. I was very turned on the entire time we were watching Doctor Who. That's not true. His character didn't have a lot of depth. Like one of our boohoo guys, I don't know who said it, but basically he was it was the one that you really liked, like racism from 53,000.
Yeah, I don't remember
like that, like just
5700th century. I thought they said like the 76th century, but
who knows?
Whatever.
Who knows? Way future. He's a racist. Against who, though? Is he a racist against humans or a racist against black people?
It seems, the way they made it seem, is clearly black people.
I guess, but is he human himself? I mean, he was a space.
That's a fair question. And if they bring him back, maybe we'll get some answers to that.
Yeah.
Because they just zapped him, or Ryan just zapped him back to the beginning of time.
Right. Right, as far back as it would go.
So he's either getting eaten by a dinosaur, or he's making a time machine out of dinosaur petroleum. And I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll never see him again because they didn't put a lot of thought into him at all.
Yeah.
And that is my major issue with this episode.
Yeah, I would say that's my issue too, as well.
Because here's the thing. Like, I'm going to say some things that are probably going to upset a lot of people right now. And
is this a trigger warning?
It's kind of a trigger warning.
Okay. All right. You've been warned.
You've been warned. And I want to say up front that I've never had an issue with the female doctor.
No.
I was excited. Like, I've been excited for Doctor Who to come back since since it was announced, since they revealed the next Doctor. The only thing that I had an issue with was too many companions at once.
Right.
This season is losing me.
Oh, no way.
It's absolutely losing me. A couple reasons. One is because of this episode.
Okay. Because of the lack of the development of the villain?
The lack of the development of they want to... I had this concern when we were watching the commercials during the season premiere, when it was talking with the writers and everything, and it's like, okay, one of the big things about this series is going to be inclusion.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what inclusion problem did Doctor Who have?
Right. Yeah.
And that's not me being shitty.
No.
I like if
No,
if
you
anybody
think about it though.
Right.
Think about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's like if somebody after hearing my rant wants to educate me, I am all for that. Because like I'm not trying to be like I don't want to be one of those people who like says like virtue signaling and social justice warriors. Blah, 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 blah. I don't feel that way. Like I'm absolutely fine with who's in the show. Mm-hmm. But this episode in particular, they wanted to do a Rosa Parks episode.
All right.
And that's like as far as they thought, or at least that's what it feels like. It's
Okay.
like, what if the Doctor goes back in time and meets Rosa Parks? Great. How does she get there? Oh, well, the TARDIS throws them back there for some reason. You know, the TARDIS does that. Mm-hmm. Okay. And why would the TARDIS throw her back there? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Space racist? Space racist?
Yeah.
I have two problems with space racist.
Okay, let's hear it.
First of all, Krasko is in like space jail
Yeah.
in the 76th century for killing 2,000 people
Yeah.
or whatever. Or like
Yeah.
whatever. It led to the deaths of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
In that time, he had to do some thinking. And boy, while he was in space jail for all that time, he realized, oh yeah, it's the black people's fault?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe it's humans' fault.
Maybe it is. But that's definitely not how they framed it for this episode.
I agree.
If
But yeah, it definitely
if he's anti-human, that would be great. If that comes to be a reveal, fine. I'll absolutely recant all of this.
okay.
If it turns out that he's anti-black,
Yeah. Yeah. So weird.
I'm going to lose my mind. Or I already lost my mind over
Yeah.
this. It ruined the episode for me.
Yeah.
The 76th century or 5700th century, whichever it is. First of all, this is going to trigger the other side. There's not going to be any white people that far in the future. White people are going to be gone.
Okay.
We're all going to be a golden brown. Like, I don't know if you've ever like read the theory of like the browning of America.
I have not.
It's basically like as the melting pot, and it's already like happening, like interracial marriages and things like that. As our planet like opens up to communications and more people mingle,
Yeah.
there's going to be more
More diverse
relationships.
Yeah.
And
okay.
if you think about how long that many centuries is,
Yeah.
there's going to be very few white people, if any. We're all going to pretty much become a monogamous color.
All right. So yeah, the way it's framed, and if that's the case, then yeah, he's definitely anti people of color. He's anti black people. That was really my only gripe about it. That and the fact that Ryan just like blasted him for like back in time and like, okay, well that's done. Good on you, Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, like no big deal.
No stern talking to
No
for
stern-
shooting somebody with a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, none of that. That bothered me too because that seemed very anti Doctor Who as well. Like it's as far as like not teaching a lesson of like, you know.
Well, to be fair, the Doctor wasn't around when that happened.
True, but
but he did say
he did
like,
say
hey,
what
yeah, well, yeah, I
happened.
zapped him into the beginning of
Yeah,
time.
and no talking to. No, like even like stern look or
Although,
side eye.
to be fair, since it's a Rosa Parks episode, you probably can't have the white woman talking down to Ryan about that.
I guess, but
Because it's not really the... So, this is a weird episode for Doctor Who. Because the Doctor can't do anything. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, she's like the white savior.
right. Yeah.
But in so doing, you've negated the Doctor's character. Mm-hmm. One of the big problems that I had with this episode is, number one, every white person in Alabama is apparently a racist psychopath. Which, okay, that's fine. Sure. Because that's the story that we're telling.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to have, well, wait a minute, blah, blah, blah. You can't have another, like, okay white person in there because you only have so much time to tell the story that you want to tell. Uh-huh. But when Ryan gets hit...
Yeah.
The Doctor does nothing. And that drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
Because going back to this series being about inclusion, we've had Captain Jack, who's pansexual
Right.
spaceman.
Yeah.
Clara, depending on how much you read into things, could have been bisexual.
Sure.
Bill,
Yeah, who was definitely gay.
who's definitely gay. Martha, who was straight, but also a person of color. So we've
Yeah.
had people of color. We've had mixed sexualities. Both Martha and Bill experienced racism in at least one episode. Not to the extreme of this episode, but everybody was talking about, like, everybody that was giving this a 10-star review was, oh yeah, this is something that Doctor Who usually shies away from. No, it's not. The episode where the 10th Doctor loses his memory, Martha experiences racism there. Like the second episode that has Bill in it experiences racism. And I think the Doctor punches the guy, doesn't he?
I don't remember that episode, but or else I would back you, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I don't think that the racism has ever been this rampant before. Like, it's ever been like
Right.
this.
No, absolutely.
This extreme. So
Because in like the World War I time and then in like Victorian time,
yeah,
that's kind of just the culture. Whereas
here
in
it's
the
like,
racist
it's
South,
violent. It's violently, and I think partially because like these groups of people who didn't have any rights, or everything was segregated, like there was a fight there on the white side to keep it that way.
right?
And a lot of people were very angry at the time because they felt like their rights were being trampled on because they wanted it separated.
Right.
So I could see why maybe it was a little bit harsher time to live in.
No, and I definitely don't disagree. And I also think that this isn't necessarily something that Doctor Who should have shied away from.
Right.
It just seems weird that we're 3 episodes in, and like from a Doctor Who storytelling standpoint, not just like the importance of this commentary. The Doctor hasn't done anything in 3 episodes, except like she jumped from a crane to another crane. Like that's like
As much action as she's seen.
that's as much heroism as she's done.
Okay.
Like the last episode was just, we got to find my TARDIS.
I don't think that was the only heroism that she did. I mean, she figured out, I mean, yes, the cloth snake creatures, whatever the hell they were, those were very stupid. And it was just like kind of a dumb issue with them, but like her figuring out to dig and to light the match or whatever, to light that cigar.
Well, that
like,
was
pretty heroic.
I mean, that was Ryan and Graham.
Yeah.
Like she just reminded Ryan of what he already knew, and then Graham's the one that
I see.
did the lighting, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Maybe I don't, but you know, I don't know. It's just, I like Jodie as the Doctor. I just wish they would give her more Doctor things to do.
Okay. Well, maybe next episode we'll see that.
I hope so. Let's get into what we actually did like about the episode.
Okay.
I thought the acting was really good.
Yes. I thought Ryan's interaction with Rosa and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Was amazing. He was like living it. He was like trying to remind himself like where he was. You know,
Yeah,
he was,
absolutely. Even though like 5 minutes ago,
moment.
5 minutes previous, he didn't know who anybody was. But
Well, yeah, he kind of had an idea, but like he didn't really know.
right, he didn't understand the importance. I like the dialogue between him and Yaz when they're hiding in the dumpster about like how he gets pulled over more and she gets called a packy at work and things like that.
Terrorists.
I didn't, this is how ignorant I am. For some reason, I didn't think racism would be a big problem in the UK.
Why?
I for some reason I thought because they're an old country, they'd have their shit figured out. It's like USA is basically teenagers. We don't know any better. But like UK, like they've had all kinds of time to figure it out. Like, hey, our colonialism was horrible, and
I don't think that changes anything. I think there's still like it's still like a problem for people.
I guess, I mean,
Because anybody
clearly.
that's different from you, anybody that's not from you specifically, but anybody that's different from someone else and you don't understand it and you don't take the time to have a conversation with that person about that situation or about what they're about who they are or what they believe in, and you just have your own ideas of what that person is and what they believe in and who they are and what they want to do, then you're going to get it all wrong. And it's probably going to be a very negative opinion of that person because they are not like you. So people just need to start having conversations. Not to get too like preachy, but talk to somebody you don't know. You know, talk to strangers.
Talk to all the strangers.
Right.
Offer them candy. Don't do that.
No.
The other thing that I finally liked about this episode,
Yeah.
everybody got something to do.
Yeah.
Every companion had like their role,
Yep.
which was great. We got to see Yaz do something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Graham is still my favorite character.
Why is that unfortunate? Graham's great. I feel like I'm turning because I didn't like Graham as much because I thought he was just like an old fogey that was just like going to slow down everybody, but he seems all right.
He's all right.
Yeah.
I don't like that Ryan wouldn't fist bump him.
Oh, that really upset me too, actually. Yeah. I thought that was really dumb of Ryan. It's like, come on, man. He's trying.
Aside from the fact that, well, we talked about like the interaction with Rosa Parks was great. I didn't like the zapping part of his character, but he also has anger issues apparently. But I still don't find him like overall to be a likable character.
Yeah.
Which, only episode 3, we've got some development to do. Like Yaz is the most likable, but doesn't have anything to do. Graham has the best lines and best personality, I think. So he's the most likable.
Yeah.
And the Doctor we just haven't gotten to see much of yet. That did remind me of something else that I don't like.
Okay.
Which
what?
I wanted to put that in the don't like pile
That's
as
okay.
opposed to up front.
All right, let's hear it.
One of the issues with the 3 companions that's bothering me is that none of them want to be there.
They didn't choose this. There was not like, oh, we want to go on an adventure? Okay. They were pulled into it.
Yeah, but still,
I think
it's Doctor Who.
once they get back to their time and where they're supposed to be, they'll come around. You'll see it.
Yeah. It's only episode 3.
Yeah.
But this isn't an American program where you have 20 something episodes in a season.
There's only 10.
There's only 10. They gotta move it.
Yeah.
You gotta move it along because otherwise it.
Hopefully it'll pick up next episode. I mean, that's all we can do is just like continue to hope. Hope for the miracle that is Doctor Who.
Well, I'm hoping that the next episode's going to be a lot of fun. That was one of the issues that I've had so far with this season is that none of the episodes seem rewatchable for me.
Yeah.
Like if there's a Doctor Who marathon on, as there usually is, I would probably skip all 3 episodes that we've had so far.
Honestly, I probably would too. That's sad when you think of it that way. Okay. All right. Well, I'm really hoping next episode
because there's there wasn't a lot of fun in any of these episodes, and Doctor Who, even when it's like traditionally at its scariest or at its most emotional, there's still a sense of adventure and fun.
I think we just need to give it some time because if you think back to the previous Doctor, Capaldi, when you think back to his first few episodes, they weren't that compelling either.
Okay.
So just give it some time. Everybody just calm down.
I'm perfectly calm.
Let it settle in.
I'm excited for crazy spiders living underground in the UK.
And Chris Knowles, is that right? Is that the actor? It's Mr. Big.
I don't know who that is.
He's the actor from Sex and the City, but also like some sort of like Law and Order, whatever.
2 things I've never watched.
Yeah.
As always, we want to know what you think. Definitely educate us. If you have any corrections, give us that as well.
It's Chris Noth.
Chris Noth. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, close enough.
Whatever.
Next week, I hope to have some news about maybe some potential giveaways, give back to the listener community, and things like that.
Fancy.
So what you'll probably want to do is, if you're a YouTube watcher, you'll want to subscribe to the channel, because that's going to be one pool that we draw from. And we'll also probably be drawing from podcast reviews. And I'll have more information on that in the future. I think we're going to do reviews on podchaser.com, which is a new site that's kind of in, or a newish site that's in beta, promising to be the IMDb of podcasts.
Cool. I like it.
So sign up for an account. You can find Watchers on the Couch there. Not only can you review a podcast itself, you can actually review individual episodes.
Excellent.
So any critical feedback, don't be jerks. We want to make a show that everybody that you enjoy, that we enjoy doing. So
look, if Angel Church Christian whatever
Ancient Christian Church
wants to review this episode on that platform, everyone's going to get to see it.
That's true.
It's pretty cool. So, yeah.
You do know that means Mike's just going to register on Podchaser's Ancient Christian Church and start reviewing the episodes.
It'd be amazing.
That would actually be funny, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't listen to this. He doesn't watch Doctor Who.
That's okay.
So that's going to do it for this episode.
Yeah.
Until next time, thank you for spending some timey-wimey with us. I'm Tim Pickerel.
I'm Sarah Pickerel.
And now our watch is ended. Until next one. Thanks for listening to Watchers on the Couch. If you've enjoyed this episode, we hope very much that you'll consider sharing it with a friend or two that might also enjoy it. Ratings and reviews on iTunes are always fine and dandy, but it's really word of mouth that helps podcasts to grow. Also, check out watchersonthecouch.com. There you'll find links to our social media as well as other ways that you can connect to us. We hope to hear from you soon, and we will talk at you soon.